text-to-voice synthesis provided by Vidnami. The power is in your hands. January 31, 2021 by Anna von Reitz. The American courts have the power to try both law and facts. Let me repeat that, our American courts have the power to try both law and facts. In other words, our courts can not only make decisions about the facts of the matter at hand, but can make decisions about the law being brought forward to prosecute any controversy. Average Americans, properly declared, operating their state assemblies, can, as juries, strike down any law perpetuated by the State-of-State Legislature, and can, more broadly, set aside acts of Congress from having any effect within the borders of their states. This is a startling fact when first presented to the downtrodden slaves among us who think, erroneously, that they are U.S. citizens or citizens of the United States. It's a power so vast and relevant, that they might even react in fear. Yet it is precisely this power which the employers retain and which they must exercise to prevent the proliferation of injustice along with the cancerous growth of literally millions of codes, regulations, and statutes, which are alternately burdening and wrongly empowering everyone who works for us. None of the other courts that you presently see in operation all around you have this ability. They are strictly limited to enforcement of their own peculiar jurisdiction and their own codes, statutes, and regulations on their own citizenry. They are all legislative courts and are the creatures of their masters, using forms of law that are international and global in nature, and which are unavoidably foreign with respect to this country and its people. In the interests of getting the horses in front of the carts, let us observe that this awesome power of jury nullification can only be exercised by Americans who are declared and recorded as being Americans, that is, by people who are eligible to act in the capacity of state nationals and state citizens and who officially chose to do so. Anyone born in this country can hop through the hoops. Anyone born to American parents outside this country is also eligible, and so are legal immigrants and even immigrants who have survived in this country for over 7 years without being convicted of a felony or taking public assistance. All these people can adopt their state of the union as their permanent house and home, and they can come home and populate it. They can then boot up their American courts and start nullifying all the unjust and outrageous nonsense coming out of the federalized court system, the municipal Congress, and the various state-of-state legislatures. But only for and on the behalf of themselves and other Americans. Obviously, if you are not British and not adopting British citizenship, British law does not apply to you. Just as obviously, the powers of an American court cannot be applied to a British citizen living in America, who is standing under the jurisdiction of the territorial district courts, and cannot be applied to a papist municipal citizen of the United States, standing under the municipal district courts, either, except insomuch as they are required to abide by our law of the land, and their constitutional obligations while residing here among us. We and our courts do have the absolute right to enforce the constitutions, every jot, comma, and space thereof. Our courts and our powers apply to us and to our people, not generally, apart from the constitutions, to the foreign citizenry on our shores. This now takes us to the second point. In order for our courts to have traction on an issue, people must be acting as Americans. As much as possible, they should be acting in the capacity of Americans before any foreign, legal issues arise and the jurisdictional waters get muddied. Put a red flag on that, all of you who are worried about 1. Forced vaccinations, 2. Mask mandates, 3. Business closures, 4. Child custody theft, 5. School closures, 6. Shutdown of public services, 7. Mortgages and evictions, 8. IRS and other taxes, 9. Traffic infractions, 10. Access to medical care, 11. Freedom to travel, 12. Bail-ins and other theft, 13. Worthless currencies, 14. Rioting and civil unrest, 15. Suspension of the constitutions, 16. Police being defunded, 17. Credit cards, 18. International threats, 19. And so on and on. If you are acting as a declared and recorded American, none of that claptrap applies to you and never actually did. It was being imposed upon you via falsification of public records, registrations, and other means of legal presumption, which you have the power to rebut and overcome. The faster you rebut being a British territorial U.S. citizen, like someone born in Puerto Rico, and also rebut any claim that you are operating a municipal corporation as your name, Inc., the better for everyone concerned. It's a matter of safety and good sense. Why would anyone object to admitting that they are a Minnesotan by birth and claiming their constitutional guarantees? Why would anyone refuse to accept and enjoy the freedoms that they and their ancestors have fought and died for? Obviously, they wouldn't, if they knew what the choices were. So, now, you can act as an American and you can join your state assembly and you can boot up your state courts and you can start doing your job of self-governance by nullifying no end of foreign nonsense heaped upon your peers, all those others who also claim their proper political status and birthright as Americans. Facing eviction based on a fraudulent mortgage imposed under conditions of non-disclosure and deceit. The Credit River decision of 1968 already decided that for Americans. So your jury of 12 honest Americans looks at it, decide that the mortgage was misapplied, and sends a nullification order to the foreign court issuing the eviction order. Your children have been snatched by the state-of-state CPS. Your court considers the matter and sends a nullification order setting their court case aside, telling them that you are a state assembly member and that you and your children are outside their jurisdiction. Remand custody of the children to your county sheriff for return to their home and their natural biological parents. You've been arrested and charged with fleeing from justice, or contempt of court, or some ancient impound warrant issued by one of these foreign courts. Your court sends them a nullification order informing them of your assembly membership and of their foreign court obligations under Article 4 prohibiting arrest and detainment of Americans who are not subject to foreign law or statutory authority. Worried about Joe Biden? Well, he's not your president. Get busy and elect your own. Restore your federal republic. Operate your confederation and your federation of states. It's your long-settled right and prerogative. It's perfectly lawful and legal for you to do this, and take charge of your own country. Now that all the state assemblies are in session, it's high time that you did. Go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net. For your sake and your freedom and your safety and that of all your family and all your countrymen, get off your duffs. Elect your sheriffs and your justices of the peace. Accept the burden of acting as jurors, and the responsibility of enforcing the constitutions and the responsibility of nullifying foreign court orders that don't apply to Americans. Exercise your rights in the proper way, with the proper authority, and watch how fast things get reformed for the better.